Eala fights back from 0-4 to reach quarters. Manila, Alexandra Eala rallied past Alexandra Sasnovich, 2-6, 6-4, 7-6, 5. Wednesday night, Thursday morning, February 5, 2026, in PH, to reach the quarterfinals of the WTA 500 Abu Dhabi Open at the Zayed Sports City International Tennis Center in the United Arab Emirates. Eala, currently world number 45, pulled off a huge comeback from 0-4 in the third set, sending a predominantly Filipino crowd to their feet after reaching match point, 6-5. Sasnovich forced a tiebreak, but misplays allowed Eala to complete an epic comeback to win the match in almost 3 hours to the delight of her Filipino fans. From 0 to belief, Eala's long walk back. The scoreboard was merciless. 0-4. For games gone, not a single one claimed. The numbers glowed above the court like a verdict already delivered. Around the stadium, the noise softened into a murmur, that particular sound crowds make when they begin preparing themselves for disappointment. But Alexandra Eala did not look at the scoreboard for long. She tightened her grip on the racket, bounced the ball once, twice, and let out a breath she didn't know she had been holding. Somewhere deep beneath the noise, beneath the pressure of expectations and the weight of every previous point, something steadied. Not hope. Not yet. Something simpler. Resolve. The match had started badly, too badly. Her opponent came out sharp, confident, swinging freely as if the court belonged to her. Returns clipped the lines. Serves kissed the corners. Eala chased balls she had reached 1,000 times before and arrived a fraction late. Every rally seemed to end the same way. One more step, one more stretch, one more missed chance. 0-1. 0-2. 0-3. 0-4. Each game slipped through her fingers like water. From the sidelines, her coach remained still, arms folded, eyes locked. No panic. No theatrics. Just patience. He had seen this before, not this scoreline, perhaps, but this moment. The moment where a match dares a player to disappear. Eala didn't disappear. She walked to the baseline for the fifth game with a quieter body language, as if she had finally tuned out the crowd and tuned into herself. The serve came slower, heavier. Less risk, more intent. The first rally stretched longer than any before it. 10 shots, then 12, then 15, until her opponent blinked first and pushed a forehand wide. 15-0. It wasn't much, but it was something. The next point came the same way. And the next. Suddenly, the rallies belonged to Eala. She wasn't overpowering her opponent. She was outlasting her, dragging her into exchanges that demanded patience instead of flair. When the game ended, her first on the board, Eala didn't celebrate. She simply nodded, once, and walked back to receive. 1-4. The comeback did not arrive as a roar. It arrived as a whisper. Her opponent still led comfortably, but the rhythm had changed. Shots that had earlier found the lines now landed inches long. Footwork that had looked effortless began to stutter. Confidence, it turned out, was not immune to pressure, especially when the pressure comes from someone who refuses to go away. Eala broke serve. 2-4. The crowd leaned forward. Something electric began to hum through the stadium. Not excitement yet, curiosity. The question every sports fan secretly loves to ask: what if? Eala's serve followed, steady and deliberate. No aces, no fireworks, just placement, variety, discipline. She won the game cleanly. 3-4. Now the scoreboard told a different story. Across the net, her opponent looked unsettled for the first time. She bounced the ball more before serving. She glanced toward her box. She rushed points she didn't need to rush. Eala noticed everything. The next game was the turning point. A marathon. Deuce after deuce. Break point saved. Break point earned. Sweat dripped. Legs burned. The sun felt heavier. On the final rally, Eala chased down a drop shot that should have been a winner. She flicked it back cross-court, barely staying alive. Her opponent went for too much, again, and the ball sailed long. 4-4. The stadium erupted. Eala allowed herself a small smile, just for a second. Not triumph. Recognition. She was back in the match, and everyone knew it, including the woman on the other side of the net. From there, the momentum became a tide. Eala played freer now, her strokes flowing with the confidence of someone who had already survived the worst. Every point felt earned. Every game felt stolen. Her opponent fought back, but the edge was gone, the certainty replaced by hesitation. Eala broke again. 5-4. Serving for the set, the pressure returned, but it landed differently this time. She had already climbed out of the hole. Whatever happened next, she had proven something to herself. The final game was tense. 2 match points missed. 1 saved by a blistering return. On the third chance, Eala trusted her instincts, stepped inside the baseline, and drove a forehand deep into the corner. She clenched her fist. But the match wasn't done. The deciding set was a test of endurance as much as skill. Both players traded breaks early, refusing to yield. But Eala's belief, forged at 0-4, never wavered. She played with clarity now, reading patterns, choosing patience over panic. At 5-3, serving to reach the quarterfinals, she took her time. One last look at the strings. One last bounce of the ball. The rally stretched. 20 shots. 30. The crowd counted in their heads. Her opponent struck first, went for the line, and missed. Eala dropped her racket. The match was hers. From 0-4 down to the quarterfinals, she had written a story that statistics could never fully explain. It wasn't just about shots made or games won. It was about refusing to accept the narrative written too early. As she waved to the crowd and gathered her things, Eala glanced once more at the scoreboard. The numbers had changed, but the lesson remained. Matches aren't over when you're behind. They're over when you stop believing you can fight back. And Eala never did. If you want this shorter, more dramatic, or written like a sports article, poem, or motivational piece, tell me the vibe and I'll tweak it fire. Rising from the abyss, Eala's epic comeback. The scoreboard glared like a verdict, 0-4. In the bleachers, murmurs filled the stadium. Some fans shifted uneasily in their seats, shaking their heads. Some whispered that the match was already over. Across the net, her opponent moved with an ease that suggested inevitability. Each swing, each footstep, each confident smile screamed dominance. And Alexandra Eala, standing alone on her side of the court, could feel the weight of it all pressing down. The heat of the sun, the tension in the air, the expectations of fans and coaches alike. For games gone without a single one to her name. Yet, in that quiet storm of doubt, something flickered. Not hope, something sharper, quieter, fiercer. Determination. She took a deep breath, bounced the ball twice, and centered herself. The crowd's noise faded into the background. The world contracted to her and her racket, to the court beneath her shoes, to the rhythm of the ball against strings. The fifth game began. The first point was simple, yet monumental. A clean serve, a deep return, and a rally that tested both players' reflexes. 15-love. She had earned her first mark. The next point followed the same pattern. Patient, precise, unwavering. With each exchange, she chipped away at the invisible wall of fear and frustration.